Hello everyone, I'm a better trader than everyone that you see online. Literally, the numbers speak for themselves. They don't lie. So far for this month, I am 14 for 15. That is a 93.3% success rate. All of the gurus and furus that you use both hands on, I'm better than them. Look, this is $100 something in singles. You know why God gives me this money? You know why God made me a really, really good trader? It's because I don't use my money to pay for women to sit on my lap. I use my money for good things. That's why God keeps giving. That's why he made me a better trader than all of the people that you look up to. The numbers don't lie. So it is what it is. If you guys want to learn how to become a good trader, like I've made so many people literally profitable, consistently profitable, leave their jobs, completely change their lives around, find someone that is saying that I'm cap. Can't. If there was, I've been online for about 3-4 years now. It would have been cap already. I would have been already, like, someone would have already made a video about me. Nothing. Where? Nowhere. You can't find anything. So take a deep breath. If you guys want access to learn how to trade, to change your lives, to make a better living for your families, to get yourself out of the financial burden that you guys are in right now, join the Discord. Go to the link in my bio. The proof is in the pudding. I could say whatever the hell I want. The proof is in the pudding. If I was a bad trader, then I would need to have like a posh attitude. I would need to wear like a suit. Well, you know, according to my analysis, I'm not sure why the market did it. I could say whatever I want because I make people money, because I change people's lives, because I don't pay to have women sit on my lap. If you guys want to learn how to do this, the link is in my bio. And I hope to see you guys there. The link is in my bio. Make sure you guys take a step towards changing your lives. You will not be, you won't be sorry. And it is what it is. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at what the next steps are for the market. We're going to take a look at the SP500, the NASDAQ, the Russell, the dollar, the bonds, the VIX. We've been calling the market movements perfect. And we're going to continue doing so. So today, some interesting things that happened with the SPY. We closed in a pretty bullish way. We're going to see if there's going to be a continuation. I'm going to be talking about the potential bullishness on the SPY. We're still holding on to our SOXL calls, which is based off of the chips. So we're going to take a look at that as well. And yeah, let's take it one step at a time. Without further ado, let's get started with the video. So number one, this is a daily chart of the VIX. We closed below 13. This is bullish. When the VIX is below $13, it is very, very bullish. We're currently at 1277, closed. So as long as we're below 13, 1350, and 14, it means that the market is bullish. Okay. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at the yields. The yields are not giving that good of a indication of what is yet to come. And then let's simply go ahead and quickly take a look at the dollar. The dollar is flagging out. It's not really giving a definitive answer either. We look at these three because the dollar, the yields, and the VIX have an inverse relationship to the market. The only thing that is giving a definitive direction is the VIX, okay? And the VIX is showing bullishness. So with that being said, next, let's just simply go ahead and take a look at the stock market. So let's take a look at the large tech stocks. All right, let's very simply go through the large tech stocks, rapid fire. Apple is clearly showing a bottoming out pattern. It's holding above 183, 182.50. It's showing some strength. This can lead to a bounce, okay? But so far today, we saw a majority strength and bounce out of the chip and AI related stocks. Namely, NVIDIA had a huge monstrous move to the upside. AMD also did very, very well. Microsoft and Google also did well. And basically, the stocks that are not getting as much love are the other tech stocks that are not the AI related stocks. For example, Tesla. Tesla is still lagging, right? It's not showing that much strength. Amazon, still doing really well. Actually, Amazon is also another one that's doing really, really well. Amazon, we dropped the ball. We dropped the ball on Amazon. We should have went long off of this setup. So beautiful. But it is what it is. Netflix, not doing great. Still closing, similar to what the SPY did. It closed above the 38.2% fib of yesterday's candle. And Microsoft, Amazon, Netflix. I think we looked at all of the large tech stocks already. But yeah, so essentially the large tech stocks that are doing the best are the chips, Google, and Microsoft. Those are the big winners. The laggers are Tesla, Apple. Obviously, we need to see if more room to go to the upside on Apple. And Netflix is still showing strength. Amazon is still showing strength. We didn't take a look at Meta. Meta closed above 354, 344.50, closed above. We wicked at 354.50 yesterday, held that level of support. We closed above 355. So this is still a continuation move to the upside. So we need to see if we can follow through tomorrow. Very simply, there are a few tech stocks that are doing well. And in general, tech did well today as a whole. It was the leader in terms of the overall market. The SPY was down. The NASDAQ was the only green out of the three indices, and the IWM was down 0.9%. So we need to see if this is going to continue. So let's just zoom out and take a look at what's going on with the SPY, right? So with the SPY specifically, I was showing how we need to see a close above the 38.2% fib yesterday. And what I mean by that is a 38.2% fib of yesterday's candle. And we did. We saw a really, really nice close above the 38.2. And even more specifically, I was saying 471 and the 472 area was going to be a major, massive level of support. Now, when you're looking at this on the 1 minute time frame, earlier in the day, right? When we were at these levels earlier in the day, the market was just rising abnormally at every single point. On any of these bearish dips, the market ripped to the upside because there were a lot of buyers. You have to think about it this way. The daily chart on the SPY, lots of bullish momentum, okay? We got a dip and then a large green candle yesterday. If we held the 38.2% fib on yesterday's candle, which I was explaining, that was going to be very, very bullish. And you could see that we held this 471.50, 472 area perfectly. Any sort of dip later on in the day ended up ripping to the upside. And then later on in the day, we had a massive, massive just run up pretty perfectly to a level that I also mentioned. But in general, the first 2 hours, 3 hours of the market, very, very bullish. We held the level of support perfectly because we held the 38.2% fib. Now, what does this mean moving forward? Moving forward, basically this means that we can continue. We can continue rising here. And as long as tomorrow we need to remain above 474.20, essentially, to maintain the bullish momentum. Because the SPY is keying off of the strength in the NASDAQ. And when you look at the NASDAQ is relatively stronger than the SPY is right now. The NASDAQ broke above yesterday's high. You can see how the SPY still trading below yesterday's high, Monday's high. The NASDAQ broke above it. So if the NASDAQ, clearly the NASDAQ is strong, but we need to see the NASDAQ get a strong, strong close. Ideally, if tomorrow we can get a close above 407, that is going to lead to, in my opinion, that's going to lead to more highs. But all of this is dependent on what we just saw with the chips and the other large tech stocks. Well, we need to see. So number one, clearly things are bullish. This is not a time to go short. It would be a very... So, zoom out again. This is not a time to go short. Second. All right, so zooming out. What we need to see is if the large tech stocks, other than the chips, can start getting their act together. If they can get their act together, specifically Netflix, Tesla, and Apple, if they can continue doing well, this might take another week of choppiness, etc. Right? But if they can get their act together and not just rely solely on the chips, then the Nasdaq is going to continue. And so far, it looks like everything is bottoming out. It's a good sign that Amazon is really bottoming out as well. And in general, things look really, really bullish. What I do want to say is this is not a time to go short, right? In the market, there's no reason to go short. We are not overextended anything. All of the tech stocks seem to be getting a lot of buying pressure. The Nasdaq is clearly getting a lot of buying pressure. The chips, when the chips are acting like this, you cannot go short. It makes 0 sense to be short. In the past 2 days, for example, you clearly saw technicals didn't work that well. They were rewarding aggressive bulls, correct? Aggressively. Whenever there was any sort of bounce at support or any little small candle on a 1 minute time frame, they popped it up because there are a lot of bulls in the market. For the bearish moves, there was not as heavily bearish moves. So that is something to take into consideration for this week specifically. These past 2 days have been astronomically bullish. So in terms of day trading. So the fact that we feel that, the fact that we're cognizant of that, right? That can't be overlooked. So if that's happening on a smaller term time frame, you have to assume that these guys are going to aim to make new highs. And here's the thing. Until there is a reason to start being bearish, until we see because so far we're closing above the levels that we need to close on. If tomorrow we close above 407 on the NASDAQ, then that's going to be really, really bullish. And then that just sets us up to break above 410, in my opinion. On the SPY, if we break above 474.20, right? If we close above that, obviously we're about like we're really close to that level already. But regardless, right? It's all dependent on the NASDAQ, and you know the SPY. Basically, what just needs to happen is the SPY just needs to not fall completely, right? There's a lot of bullish potential so far this week. We have earnings, bank earnings on Friday, but we have major macroeconomic news on Thursday. So tomorrow, let's see if we can get another rise upwards. If we can end up getting a really, really strong move to the upside, that could potentially be a bear trap. Who knows? We'll see. But so far, there's no reason to be bearish. You can't just trade based off of what might happen with macroeconomic news. It's a flip of the coin anyway. You have to trade what we can see. We have to trade what we're cognizant of in terms of buying pressure. And so far, clearly is a lot of bulls. Clearly, we're holding and breaking above key levels of resistance. So you can't really do much about that, to be honest. And the VIX is trading below 13. You can't do anything about that. The IWM closed basically at 195. We closed above the 50% fib. Obviously, the IWM is not getting as much love. Most of the money is funneling into the tech. But it's a good sign that the IWM has not died, right? If the IWM was starting to become red, then that becomes a bit more concerning. But it's just not performing as strongly as the NASDAQ. So with that being said, we need to see how the NASDAQ responds. We need to see if the IWM can continue to just hold support. And then namely, we need to see if Tesla, Apple, and the other Microsoft also. Microsoft, we need to see Microsoft do something as well. Microsoft's not really doing much. We opened red on Microsoft, and obviously we bounced, but we need to see Microsoft do something as well. And then we need to see if Meta can continue. So if these stocks start to really do well, that's going to take some pressure off of AMD, NVIDIA, Amazon to continue to hold the market up. So that's what we want to see. And yeah, the other thing is obviously it's really difficult to be bullish AMD because clearly we're at fib extension. This is the 1.618% fib extension from the recent lows to the recent highs. And we wicked off of that level really perfectly. And we're also trading. We opened and closed outside of the upper level of the Bollinger Band. Going long here with shorter dated contracts can be really, really tough. what you're gonna end up having to do, what we did, was we got in the money contracts, and then they ended up doing 25% today. So clearly, they're working out. What we need to end up seeing is if NVIDIA can consolidate a bit, hold support while the Bollinger Bands move up, and then continue up. Above this, the next fib extension is going to be the 2618% fib at almost 600. So there's a lot of potential still remaining for the chips. It's just in the short term, it's difficult to start leaning long on them because they're very overextended algorithmically. But you cannot automatically short because this is institutional buying power. You cannot short against institutional buying power. It's much, much easier to go long outside of the lower level of the Bollinger Band than it is to go short when we're trading outside of the upper level of the Bollinger Band. Because on the lower end, you're playing alongside institutional buyers. On the upper end, you're playing against them. So keep that in mind, specifically on stocks and the leaders of the tech stocks, right? So just keep that in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning.